The ancient Egyptians were deeply involved with magic. Natural magic that's in alignment with cosmic law. And sound is one of the most powerful tools they used. So when they gave something a name, that name contained a unique magical power that could be unlocked when it was pronounced correctly. So let's dive right into the name of Osiris. Osiris' name is written with just two hieroglyphs, a throne and an eye, while a third one may be added to determine him as a male neter. Now, hieroglyphs are a sacred means to convey multidimensional information symbolically, without words. So just reflect for a moment on what the image of a throne could possibly mean. The Egyptians had many types of chairs and seating arrangements. But who sits on a throne? And this question begins to unlock the door, because only the king and queen are allowed to sit on a throne. And since it's not gender related, who sits on the throne is the royal principle. Use your eye. Look at its shape. What does it tell you? The first thing you notice is that it has three parts on three different levels. A horizontal footrest at the base, a tall rectangular seat, and a vertical backrest. Let's start with your feet. The soles of your feet are the lowest parts of your body, and they're directly in touch with the earth, which is represented by Osiris' father, Geb. Yet the throne elevates them above it to rest on a higher ground. This platform is attached to the throne, so unlike a footstool, it cannot be separated. The second level is the seat, and the place you sit is where you find your stability and equilibrium. The shape is always square or rectangular. And remember in the video on Geb, I mentioned how he represents the number 4 and the square, whose three-dimensional manifestation is the cube. And since matter is made up of structured atoms in space, then Osiris sits firmly upon his ancestors. Finally, a third level rises up as a backrest, adding further stability and supporting the spinal column, which in turn supports the head. So already from its simple shape, we see how its structure relates to the three levels of the human body: the feet, the torso, and the head. The second hieroglyph is an eye, looking straight out at you. Remember how the hieroglyphs work. They don't want you to focus on the object depicted, an eye, but on the vital essence of an eye, which is to see, vision. Then flip the camera into selfie mode and look for that vision within your own body and psyche. And now you tell me what this hieroglyph means. It's your own capacity for inner and outer vision. Bravo. The eye hieroglyph is made of two parts, the white and the circular iris, which contains the pupil. This opening is a doorway or portal that lets in light and enables us to see. But it's also a two-way passage that can send things out. And this is where its creative power lies. For example, lovers can communicate through their eyes without speaking. And sometimes jealous people are said to cast an evil eye. You can easily recognize these powers in animals who have little or no ego, yet they are all examples of energy passing out through the eye from within. Putting them together again, the first reading we come to is a solid, stable place that supports this type of free-flowing energy exchange, okay? And here we recall that Osiris was the role model for the king because he represents the perfect man who acts in complete harmony with cosmic law according to his own contract. But I have a problem with that word king, because for a few thousand years Europe was ruled by kings and queens, with powerful figures like Louis XIV standing out to color our vision. The king implies rulership, which brings rules. It smacks of power and authority, and we know how easily those can be abused. So here I turn to the great Sufi Sheikh Ibn Arabi, who called one of his books The Divine Governance of the Human Kingdom. And to me that resonates in complete harmony with the role of Pharaoh. He governs his own human kingdom, first of all his own body and psyche, and then all else that lies within his domain, which is perfectly expressed in a statue like this of Khafre. Returning to the power of sound, the throne hieroglyph is linked to the sound aus, and the I stems from the root word ir, meaning to make or create. Thus his original name was something like Ausir, but this was altered by the Greeks during the Ptolemaic dynasty, when they changed the names of virtually all the cities and many of the well-known letters, yet their spellings remained the same. So within the temple teaching, the sound was not altered. However, the renaming removed their magical powers for all the uninitiated, and today we no longer know exactly how his name sounded. This is critical in something like a ritual invocation, and brings to mind an anecdote from Rabia al-Adawiyya, who said,
"Would you answer if I called you by the wrong name? I ask because for years I was calling God by the wrong name."
Before I close, I must remind you that Osiris is not a person or a god. It's the name of a very important cosmic law that applies not only to you as a human being, but to every living creature both here on Earth and throughout the whole universe. What we call life is essentially Osiris, and it was created to act in harmony and obedience with cosmic law. And while we are free to act as our ego chooses, all the inscriptions on stela, in temples, in tombs, asking to be like Osiris are pleas to return to what he stands for, to return to your own right path after finding you've strayed from it. We're dealing here with metaphysics, made understandable in the simplest terms through the temple teaching. And now you know a little more about the name of Osiris, but there's so much more to learn, so to stay tuned, click the like and subscribe buttons, and consider supporting the channel through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description below, where you'll also find a link to my blog, News from Beyond. And as ever, thank you for watching.